Athens, Georgia, Clayton County, bio, pharma, technology. What does it all have in common? The Innovation Crescent. Learn more today on Invest in Clayton. Hello, and welcome to Invest in Clayton. Today, we're going to speak with Kristin Boscan from the Innovation Crescent. Hi, Kristin. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. So there are so many questions that I have, but the first one is actually something that I just learned right before we began our taping, and that is you are from New York, and you started your life, your professional career as a teacher. I want to know what brought you from New York City, well, not New York City, Rochester, New York, and teaching down here to Georgia. I mean, we're glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, the same thing that should bring anybody else down, getting away from New York taxes to Georgia taxes and getting away from New York snow to no snow, pretty much. If there's snow, everything shuts down for the day. But my family and I are so happy to be here for both of those reasons.
All right. So obviously you have an economic developer's heart because, you talked about the value proposition for being in Georgia. Of course, we love this weather. We love the tax structure. It's a very business-friendly state to be in. But let's talk about the Innovation Crescent because I know myself being relatively new, I moved down and heard about it, but really wasn't quite sure what this thing was. And I am so happy that we have it. So if you could just tell me, what is the Innovation Crescent?
The Innovation Crescent is two things. So it is both a geographical region of the state and it is also a partnership. So we'll back up to 2007 when Governor Perdue was the governor of Georgia, and he had a workforce initiative that he wanted to start. So he took the whole state of Georgia, divided it up into regions based on the assets. So the Innovation Crescent's assets were the life sciences, and that consists of 15 counties from Metro Atlanta out to Metro Athens. And so if you look at that on a map, it's vaguely in a crescent shape. Use a little bit of imagination there. And then also it's a partnership of the economic developers of all of those 15 counties, as well as a couple extra organizations within the city of Atlanta, including Invest Atlanta and Metro Atlanta Chamber. And so the partnership, the human aspect, the economic developers work together to recruit companies to come reside within this region or to retain those that we have and expand those that we have. And so in 2007, that was started. Then in 2009, we launched the marketing initiative at the International Bio Convention. And then technology exploded everywhere. And so in 2013, technology was added as one of our target sectors. So we're now life science and technology, mainly the healthcare IT, bridging the two.
Wow. So it's literally a crescent. And Clayton County is one anchor of the crescent, and Athens is the second anchor of the crescent.
Correct.
All right. So we're talking about life sciences, bio, tech firms, startups, mid-level companies, all of that boiling in this pot. And the Innovation Crescent, like we said, is the geography, but the Innovation Crescent is a group that you're charged with being the steward of helping these companies grow up in this area.
Absolutely. So we consider ourselves a marketing arm, as Georgia Department of Economic Development is the state's marketing arm. We are an organization to market this area together. It's all about partnership. I'm sure you've noticed the relationships when you're at the board meetings that everybody has. It's such a dynamic group of people. Some say the best economic minds there are, debatable. But definitely there's a partnership going on within the Innovation Crescent as well as with the state, because this area truly has everything you could need. If you look at some of the stats, we are half the size of Boston. What do you think of when you hear Boston?
Boston, it's medical.
Yes. And so to be half the size of that, I'll take it. That's phenomenal. But a lot of people don't know that. So we exist to push that out there. How do we do that? We attend the Bio International Conference. We have a great presence there doing that with the state. And we are the only state that attends the HIMSS conference, which is Health IT. And this year we made a huge splash, and it was phenomenal.
All right. So Innovation Crescent, it is a marketing consortium. How many counties?
15.
15 counties from Clayton all the way over to
Athens.
And how, if I'm a company and I'm sitting somewhere in this crescent, what should I know? What should I be doing? How do I get involved? What's out there?
There's so many organizations that can help you do whatever you need to do as a company at whatever stage you're at. So if you're a startup, we have incubators, accelerators located within Metro Atlanta as well as a little bit farther out. Does Clayton County work? How does Clayton County work with startups?
Absolutely. Great question. So with startups in Clayton County, we have a couple of different things that we can do. There is, of course, the Small Business Development Center connected to Clayton State University. You can go there and get some preliminary assistance. Our library system has a phenomenal program for any entrepreneur who's interested in it. They partner not only with the Small Business Development Center, but also with the Small Business Administration and the Atlanta Area Urban League to put on different seminars and classes for entrepreneurs and startups. And
Excellent.
then again, keep an eye out because by the end of 2019, Clayton County itself is going to be entering the fray.
Nice. And did you mention one time something about Clayton State coming in with some programs as well?
Yes, Clayton State University. They currently house the SBDC program, but they are also working right now to bring a series of seminars to help startups.
Excellent. So almost every county is just chock full of all those little nuggets that can help any business. So that's just with startups right there. But there are also incentives through the state. So us working with the state and having state representatives that are at the Innovation Crescent board meetings to hear firsthand what someone in Clayton County may be needing or another county may be needing. It's just a bridge, a quicker pathway to get what's needed. So we discussed startups. We've got commercialization with the universities. Tons of universities right in Metro Atlanta for that, as well as UGA out in Athens. Any incentives that a company may need moving into anywhere within the Crescent, they can contact the Innovation Crescent, they can contact the state. We've got those at any level for large companies all the way to small companies to women-owned businesses, anything that's there. There is something for everybody.
So the Innovation Crescent really provides a no wrong door policy for all of our innovation companies. So all of those tech companies, all of those bio companies, pharma companies. If I am anywhere in this crescent and I have a question, I can pick up the phone. I can go to the website. What's the website?
GeorgiaInnovationCrescent.com.
Go to GeorgiaInnovationCrescent.com and say, hey, I have developed the next best medical device. How do I get it commercialized? And the resources are there to say, okay, well, let's talk through this and let's send you in the right direction.
Well put. No closed door policy is well put. Yes.
All right. And so sometimes the Innovation Crescent itself is actually going to be the resource provider. Tell us about some of the resources that the Innovation Crescent directly provides to companies.
Sure. So in terms of startups again, and the two conferences or trade shows that I mentioned before, in order to retain, we have so much talent already within the Innovation Crescent, so much intelligence. We want to keep that. So there are tons of startups in this area. And so we will support fully for startups to attend the Bio International Conference. Trade shows, conferences are super expensive. They are also difficult to get placement. And so by partnering with the state, we get great placement because there's like a ranking system to get in there. So as a return customer, we rank higher each year. The state also does sponsorship, so we get nice visibility and good placement. So we will support 4 companies to attend completely free to bio. This year it's in Philadelphia. It oftentimes is in California. Last year it was in Boston, so that was great too. And the companies will get 3 exhibitor badges, all their signage free, and any marketing initiatives that we do from the Innovation Crescent or that the state does, the startups get to partake in that. And the bonus that we added last year and we'll be having this year is a partnering badge. So not only is the partnering badge quite expensive, so that is free, it allows you to partner with any other attendees or businesses that are there. And you can start scheduling that as soon as you're registered. So you could essentially have every 15 minutes of your day scheduled before you get there, knowing who's going to get there in a private area to discuss, or you can bring them right to the Georgia booth to see what other resources are there, because sometimes it's nice to see the other companies that are around in the state already. It's like, if you see 12 people with a really nice haircut that all went to one shop, you're curious about that shop. So to be right in the Georgia space is nice as well. So that's bio. And then we do something very similar for HIMSS, where we will sponsor 4 companies, and that's a partial scholarship. So we pay a good chunk of the price, and then 4 companies will get to attend as well at a highly reduced rate.
Okay. Let's take one step back and tell us just a little bit more about the bio conference itself. What is it, and why would a company want to go to it?
The bio conference is aptly named. It's international. And so there are companies, it's largely pharma oriented, so pharmaceuticals, and it is attended by so many countries all over the world. A lot of times the countries will have a large space termed a pavilion and then divide that up with their companies. And then there are also huge, well-known companies. AbbVie always sponsors it. Takeda, which is part of the Innovation Crescent, formerly Shire, they were a sponsor last year. So anyone that wants to connect with these larger companies would want to be there. There are certainly job seekers, there are researchers, R&D, anybody with any sort of relation. Site selection is there as well, so that's a huge point for the economic developers as well.
All right. So if I am a smaller company and I'm in Clayton and I'm doing something with pharma or bio, and I think, hey, I need some international exposure. I want to talk to some of these larger multinationals. This would be an opportunity for me to get in front of them?
Definitely, especially if you're looking for business development. It's ideal for business development.
Okay. And so then through the Innovation Crescent, I can potentially get a scholarship to do this.
Yes.
And not just a scholarship. I can get a scholarship. I can piggyback off of what the state of Georgia Economic Development Department, which, by the way, has been the #1 state for economic development by Site Selection magazines for how many years in a row now?
5 years in a row.
5 years running.
Boom.
So, I get to play in the arena with the biggest dog possible.
That is right. I love the way you word stuff.
Well, you make it easy. All right. So that's bio. What's HIMSS?
HIMSS is Health Information Management Systems Society. So let's just say Health IT Conference. So I would say the largest part of HIMSS would be your scheduling, patient portals, which they're actually moving away from, more direct access to patient medical records, any electronic medical records. So any sort of technology that you would be using in the doctor's office or to communicate with your doctor's office is basically what HIMSS is.
All right. So this is med school meets IT school.
Okay, let me think about that. Definitely the IT, yes.
Yeah. So we're going to take all of the stuff, all of the great information that our doctors are collecting about us, and we're going to find a way to digitize that, program it, and make it more efficient for the doctors to speak back and forth to one another.
Not only to one another, but also to the patient. Also, even scheduling. So we're not even talking getting into the doctor yet, but how many times have you sat on hold trying to get an appointment and you would like to just look at the appointment and pick one for yourself, maybe not have to talk to anybody?
Right.
We've got scheduling programs. We sponsored one of the companies this year, and scheduling was their thing.
All right.
I can't think of their name.
And so then again, that's okay. It'll come to you. Then again, HIMSS is like bio, and the Innovation Crescent has partial scholarships available for this one as well.
Correct.
And so how does that process work? How does the Innovation Crescent decide, hey, here's a company that's worthy? Or even how does Innovation Crescent find companies? Because I'll say, as an economic developer in the field, we do our best to get out, knock on doors, let people know, hey, we're here for you. We need to know what your opportunities are, what your impediments are, and then we match you with the resources to take advantage of the opportunities and overcome the impediments. But sometimes we just don't know you're there, right? Mm-hmm. You had this great idea, you started it up, you've got your head down, and you're working forward, you're doing what you do, and we haven't found you yet. So for those people who are out there, they're grinding, and we haven't found them yet, how do they find us? What do they do to tell us that, hey, I'm here and I wanna participate?
I love it. So here's what I love about living in the greater Atlanta area. It's the people. You have got to get out there and know who your people are, and it's all about networking. Kirk Barnes, who heads up the healthcare vertical for ATDC, he's great about that. Follow him on LinkedIn. Grow your LinkedIn network and get yourself out there, because the more events that you can attend, you'll start to see the same faces over and over again. And it's a pretty connected community. You just need to get in there and literally, like you just said, Wave, here I am, here's what I do, and keep on saying it and keep on doing that, using your social media to get yourself out there and to follow others so that they become aware of who you are. You can also reach out to the Georgia Innovation Crescent. We exist to support you. So we will market you ourselves. We will spread the word to 15 counties, plus 2 other economic organizations, plus the state of Georgia. And there are a wealth of resources within all of those organizations I just mentioned. There's international trade from the Georgia Department of Economic Development, and anything else pretty much that you could need.
Wow. So that is a lot. So you talked about a specific company, Shire, with new name.
Formerly Shire, yep. Now Takeda.
And last fall, as part of the Innovation Crescent, we did a tour there. Tell us a little bit about the Innovation Crescent and how the Innovation Crescent helped Now Takeda, and what went into that deal so that everyone who's watching can understand exactly what it is that we do and how we help these companies prosper right here in the Crescent.
So any large company moving into this area is going to be a group effort. So the state was in on that. The development authority in that area was in on that. Each of the economic development, the chambers were in on that as well. And here's a really cool piece to any company that wants to relocate to Clayton County, the Innovation Crescent, anywhere in Georgia. Right across the street from Takeda is the Bioscience Training Center. Sit down for this, because this is not even fake. You can bring your company in here. Georgia will pay to train your technicians in a state-of-the-art real training center that we toured. You saw it had every type of equipment you could need for a scientist. And they will train them there while you are preparing your building for them. So when your company is ready to relocate, you get to start on day one with trained workforce from right here in Georgia. And so that was a huge draw for Takeda. And so being right across the street from them, it was ideal. But that is available to any company that wants to come in here. The state also worked with other incentives that I couldn't share with you what those are, but
Absolutely.
That's, relative to each company and what they may need and where they're going to be.
And one of the things that we learned on that trip was that, we may think, oh, wow, Athens, it's so far away. But correct me if I'm wrong, they said a good portion of their employees live in the metropolitan Atlanta area, and they commute back and forth.
Yeah. And so Takeda's in Newton County, the social circle area, they do have a lot of reverse commuters, as they call it. And so one of the things they're trying to do there, and that a lot of the counties have done within the Innovation Crescent, is create their own multi-use areas and try to make it a little bit more urban-like. For example, in Newton County, they're trying to make it very walkable and creating a lot of bicycle paths, walking paths, so people can kind of have more of an urban feel and not have to do the reverse commuting.
So going back to what you said about the creation of the Crescent and the identification of regions, this truly is a region. It's a regional effort. It's one of those things where it's not just a random hodgepodge, but there are real connections between little old Clayton County and all the rest of the Crescent.
Yes. And a company that ends up settling in Clayton County is also going to benefit other areas of the Crescent. Hardly any of us work and live in the same county. So any of that development there is going to positively affect other areas of the region.
Exactly. We got to remember the concept of the rising tide floats all boats, and that a win in Georgia is a win in Clayton.
Absolutely.
And the the Innovation Crescent is great for that. And so speaking about that, we have the two conferences that are coming up. And so when are they?
All right. HIMSS is the beginning of the year. It is usually sometime in February, usually mid-February, sometimes a little earlier, but typically mid-February. And BIO's in the summer, which is really nice when it's in California. But that's usually mid-June. This year it's early June.
All right.
So think February, June.
All right. So February for HIMSS.
Correct.
And then mid-June for BIO.
Correct.
So we had our HIMSS this year. It was successful. We were happy with it.
It was amazingly successful. We had people, literally, I won't say what state, came up and said, we want to copy you. We're not even going to try to reinvent the wheel because you guys do it so well. And another person came up and said, from a northern state, and said, do you guys teach people how to do this? I mean, literally, it was phenomenal.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So we're going to begin those teaching classes. Not. All right. But so now is a great time, if I'm a company that's interested in HIMSS, to connect with the Innovation Crescent for 2020.
Yes, it would be great. So I would anytime reach out to me. You can go to our website at georgiainnovationcrescent.com and click on the info link, or you can email me directly at kboscan, Boscan, at georgiainnovationcrescent.com, and you write out Georgia. Also, like I mentioned before, follow the social media, especially Twitter, LinkedIn. You can catch us on YouTube for a little summary of who the Innovation Crescent is and how we came to be. But that's always pushed out through all the social media outlets. So when that's coming up, we will push that out. But if you want to get in now, and that way you can get registered soon, and all the sooner get your networking going, your partnering.
And
scheduled.
So BIO was coming up in June.
Yes.
All right. And so if I'm a company and I'm interested in BIO, same situation. I'm going to get to that website.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to email you. And then, hopefully we'll get that in time for 2019. But if not, we'll be 2020 is on the horizon.
Good point. We do this every year. So we do have a couple of spots left for this year, but you want to make sure timing is so important too. So you want to make sure it's the right time for your company. Make sure you have the approvals that you need through whatever approving agency you need to go through, because to have those, will benefit you more to be able to move into your business development. And you can always call and we can talk through it and decide if this is a good year for you. If not, the next year I have some nice file keeping that I'll put you right in there and reach out to you in the next year.
But I think that's so important that you said that, right? So it's not a race to be the first one to call and say, hey, I gotta be in, I have to do it this year. The Innovation Crescent will help you, will connect you with all of the right resources to vet it and to say, hey, you know what? Where am I in the development of my technology? Am I in the commercialization phase? Am I at a phase where I'm just looking for investors? Am I ready to go out? Is this even the right conference for me? And then I'm imagining that you also have programs and resources to help them decide if this is not the right conference, what is the right conference, and let's get us in contact.
Definitely. Yes. We want you to be successful. Like we mentioned before, success benefits so many.
Right.
So we'll talk that through and decide if this is the right place and the right time. And if so, we'll move forward. And if not, we'll move forward in another direction.
Now, a couple of different things before we close up here. We talked about the fact that the Innovation Crescent is a geography of counties. And of course, the counties are participating. But what we didn't talk about are the companies. So our companies, members, our companies, how do companies engage with the Crescent? And what I mean by that is there a cost associated with it, or do they just jump on board and they're riding this train?
Okay, so that's a great question. I have a few answers for it. This is a membership based organization. And it is really for economic developers. And so the people who would be members would be economic developers, and they must be representing one of those 15 counties. However, an economic developer needs to be armed with as much information as possible, including the companies that are there, because we go back to our mission. It is not only to recruit companies, but to retain and expand those that we have. So if you are a company, definitely reach out, and we can introduce you to the entire board and other members. We will get you in our newsletter, and we will help support you through our marketing, through social media as well. And that way, with us being able to do that and you following the Innovation Crescent, you can know what other events are coming up that can help you market your company and grow your company.
And so just a good thing for all of you Clayton County businesses out there. Clayton County is, in fact, a member of the Innovation Crescent.
Yep.
That's just one more way that we're bringing value to you right here in Clayton County. Events. How do I find out what events are coming and what events are coming up that you want to plug?
Absolutely. Thanks. So we work really closely, like I said, with the state, with TAG, the Technology Association of Georgia, and Georgia Bio. So that pulls in our health IT from the TAG and the bio, Georgia Bio with Life Sciences. So we've got a few fun things coming up. In the week of April 8th is the Southeastern Medical Device Association Annual Summit, and that is in the Crescent, right in Clayton County's neighbor, Fulton County, North Fulton. All of these events are in our social media. They are on our website. And also I'd recommend to go to Georgia Bio's website, and Clayton County can push these out as well. So I know we're connected on social media. After that, April 12th is a career fair. And so anyone interested in a career in the life sciences and health IT, or any company that is looking for top-notch employees, can contact Georgia Bio, who's sponsoring this. This is going to be in Atlanta at the Emory Conference Center. That's April 12th. And then April 17th is State of the Industry. So here's for especially economic developers or companies interested in knowing what's going on with life sciences. That's at April 17th, and that will be hosted by Georgia Bio in Atlanta, but also will be live streamed. So if you can't make it and you want to know what's going on, April's a huge month.
I guess so. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Is there anything else that we missed? I mean, because we could talk all day about all of the wonderful programming that you do.
We could. If you're inviting me back, I'll come back.
All right.
But I think that's about it for now, and I will definitely keep you updated.
All right. Well, Kristin, thank you for coming today.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us. Again, this has been Kelfani Stevens with Kristin Boscan on Invest in Clayton. Go to investclayton.com to learn more.